Today we have Christian talking about how to be more productive with keyboard shortcuts. I'm a huge fan of keyboard shortcuts, and they can just make things a lot easier. And the beauty of the Mac, this is what I think I love about the Mac, is their keyboard shortcuts for the most part haven't changed even through the years. Command Q is quit even from Mac OS 9. So once you learn a couple of keyboard shortcuts, and then you can add more, it just comes second nature. So that is what Christian is going to talk about today. So let's get started. And Christian, the floor is yours.
Right, terrific. All right, well, so thank you. And I'm like Dan, I'm a big fan of keyboard shortcuts because, why do we do this? Why do we care about keyboard shortcuts? Because they're way faster. It makes it easier to do stuff on your Mac because it's faster. Okay, that's the first thing. The other thing is it's actually more precise. So doing a keyboard shortcut exactly does what it's supposed to do, whereas sometimes with the mouse, you might click the wrong thing. And so I'm going to show you some examples of these things, and we'll learn about some things maybe you already know, but a bunch of stuff you don't know, I hope. But you can put it all to work starting today. So now, before we start, something I always like to do, it's a little bonus here, is my cursor. I'm going to share my screen, and then I'll show you a few things. Let's share this screen. Okay, like this. Okay. So here you're seeing my screen, I hope, with the Command, Option, Control, and Shift. Do we see that?
Yes, we do.
Good. Okay. So here's the problem: is when you're doing stuff like this, and you're trying to show things, and it's a big screen, the cursor is tiny. So I'm going to make the cursor big. Now I'm going to do it sort of as a favor to you so you can see it. But I'm actually going to leave it big for me because it's easier to see. So what you do is you go to System Preferences, go to Accessibility, go to Display, and Pointer. This is the normal size pointer. Here's a great big pointer. I'm going to pick one, right around here, just a little bit bigger. And I'm going to make a color around the outside be nice, bright green so we can see it easier. Okay, so that you get for free. Okay, the rest, you get your money's worth already. So now let's talk about shortcuts. So when you look in the menus, you do see these shortcuts over here on the right. And I have to tell you, when I first got my Mac back in 1985, I thought you had to use the mouse, and I thought these things down the right-hand side indicated corruption in the menu. I didn't know what these symbols meant, and I thought there was something broken. So I just sort of ignored them and used the mouse all the time. But if you're going to the menu all the time and you see stuff and you see a shortcut next to it, okay, that's how you learn. So that's one way you learn. There are other ways to learn too, but basically keep your eyes over there on the right to the things that you do a lot. So speaking of doing things a lot, let's do something that works pretty much all the time. I'm going to bring up my mail program here. Let's say I want to print this. Okay, well, what do we do? Of course, I can go up here and say print, right? We know that. But you see the Command P. Well, all right, so Command P will do it. So I'm going to hold down the Command key, and I'm also going to show you today, I'm going to try to show you I'm going to show you the keys that I'm pressing if I do this right. So give me just a moment here so I can do this. I just got to turn it on.
Can you please turn off your mail program?
Sure.
Thank you.
Okay. So what I want to do, but I wanted to print something out of there. So that's why I had that open. Okay, so let's see. I want to make this show up. Yeah, okay. I want you to be able to see the keys that I'm pressing. That's why I'm doing this here. There's a special program I'm going to use to do that. And I got to do one more thing to make that work. Sorry, folks, a little delay. I made the screen big so you can see it better, but I've put myself in a hole there, but now I can do it. Okay, so I'm going to show you the keys. Now, if I hold a key down, you'll see it up there at the top, and that'll be great. Now, I'm going to make the screen bigger again so that we can all see it again. Let's do this. Okay, here's a nice big screen. And now if I push a key down like the command key, you see it on the screen. So you can see what I'm pressing now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. And here's the option key, and here's the control key, and here's the shift key. So the reason I made my desktop look like this is because you need to know what these symbols are, because they're in the menus. And when someone tells you it's command B or command O or command P, you're going to see you're going to see symbols like these. And so you just have to know what they mean. Otherwise, it's just gobbledygook. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to print something. So I'm going to print. Here's a note I'm going to print. Let's say this is the notes for today. If I want to print, of course I can go to File and say Print, and you get this box. No surprise. Okay, but if I do Command P, we saw it here, right? There it is. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to hit Command P, and you actually see, if you look really carefully, watch up here where it's in the File menu, it'll light up as if I clicked up there, but I'm not going to be anywhere near it. But here I go, Command P. Okay, now, I think probably everyone knows Command P, but there's a couple other things about this. First of all, it's going to work almost everywhere. Second of all, this box is a nice box because it shows us a cancel button. And the cancel button, you can trigger two ways. Almost every dialog box that has a cancel button in it can be, the cancel button can be clicked by pressing escape. So I'm going to press escape on my keyboard, the upper left, ESC, and it goes away. Okay, that was easy. So I'm going to do Command P, and I'm going to hit escape, and it goes away. Good. But now there's another way to do cancel, and this might work when escape doesn't work, and that's Command period. So you hold down the Command key like this, and then you type a period, and somehow it clicks that button too. So, but actually what's happening here is it's not really clicking the button. It's just sending the command to do whatever that button would have done. Okay, now, when we go to print again, Command P, now we see in this dialog box, besides the cancel button, we also see, of course, the print button is there, and it's blue. It is the default button. What it means is if I hit return on my keyboard, that's the button it's going to click. So I'm going to print this thing. Okay, but I have a couple copies of this before we're through. So all I'm going to do is hit the return key, and it's going to print. Okay. Well, that's not so hard. That's not so impressive either. But one of the things that's nice about this little example is you actually can go so fast as to not even see the dialog box come up, and it'll still print. So we know that Command P is going to bring up the box. We know that return or enter is going to click the print button. So I'm just going to do it. I don't even have to look, and it may not even show up, but I'm going to go sort of at a reasonable speed. Command P, enter, I'm done. Okay, so keyboard shortcuts can kind of stack up like that, and they'll still execute, even though there seems to be no place for the keyboard shortcut to operate. It sort of was remembered, and it's just done, and so that's nice. Okay. So remember that whenever you have a box up that's got a blue button in it or a heavily outlined button, that's the default button, and that's going to be your return key, or enter is going to do that. Okay, let's do some things that we do all the time, such as in mail. I'm going to bring up mail again. I'm going to make a new message. So I'm going to do Command N to make a new message. Now, why would I do that? Because it's faster than going here. Okay, but you see the shortcut, it's Command N right there. So that was easy. It's also faster than doing it like going over here and trying to click on this. That works, but Command N is even better. So there's my Command N. So now that worked in mail. Where else might that work? And I think Dan mentioned Command Q for quit. Well, I'm going to use that right here. Quit is always at the bottom of the first menu, and it's always Command Q. So I'll just do Command Q and quit this thing. There, it's done. Okay, so let's look at Safari. We do Safari a lot. So I'm going to bring up Safari, and I'm going to here's a Safari window here. And now let's say I want to make a new Safari window. Well, there's N, Command N. So that's how I'm going to do it from now on. I'm just going to hold down the Command key, type an N, and I got a new page. So now you might notice when I do it, first I hold the Command key down, and then I hit the N. And that makes it way easier than what a lot of people try to do, is they try to do it like they're playing the piano, like it's a chord. You don't have to hit the Command and the N at the exact same time. You can hit the Command key and hold it down all day long and nothing will happen. So hold it down and then tap the other key you need, and there you go. So there's a right way and a wrong way to do your keyboard shortcuts, and that's the right way. The wrong way is to try to do it like you're playing a chord on a piano. It's too hard. It's too hard. So just do it my way. It's easier. Okay. Okay, let's see. So now we see that Command N works here. I'm telling you, Command N makes a new something just about everywhere. Let's say you're a Chrome person. Okay, let's say you like Chrome. I want to make a new window in Chrome. Well, I can look here and I can see new windows, Command N. So I know that's going to work when I do this. Okay. So new window, I can make a whole bunch of them. Yay. Okay. And now suppose you want to close them. Well, it turns out there's a standard close thing too, which most of the time it's Command W, and in Chrome it's Command, you can see it's Shift Command W. So I'll just hold down Shift Command and hit W a few times, and it's as if I click the close box. When I go to Safari, close is going to be just regular old Command W. So I'll just close a few of those. Okay, so those are good ones. You can do those a lot. Let me show you something sort of interesting in Safari, another great shortcut. Let's say I'm going to go read some light reading. I'm going to go read the Declaration of Independence. Okay, so let's go see, let's get the text of that. Okay, so let's say you're reading this and you say, oh my gosh, this is long. You know, where's the part about, there's got to be something here about the troops, because I remember that they're complaining about the king and about his troops. Where is it in here? I don't want to read the whole thing. So what do I do? Well, you can do a find. You can do Command F for find. And now I can search for whatever it is I want to find. I found it. Okay, so I found on the page something. So we're used to searching Google to find the page. But once you're on the page, Command F will help you find stuff on the page. Okay, so that'll be nice. Okay, let's do a couple of text formatting ones. I'm going to bring my my notes back here.
Can we get a quick question for you?
Of course.
All right, Sandy, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
So what is the command to close multiple windows all at once with one set of keystrokes?
Okay, well, usually it's the Command W with the Option key. So let me open a few up here. So again, I'm back in Safari. Here's one. I'll do Command N a whole bunch of times. Okay, and now when you look up here at the File menu, you can actually see Close All Windows. Remember this weird looking sort of, I don't know, looks like a picnic table or something to me. That's the Option key. Option Command W. So if I can draw a command key, that I can do. If you told me that you'd give me $1 if I could draw the Option key symbol, I don't know if I could do it because it's a weird thing. I never really think about it. But this would be Option Command W. So what I'll do is hold down Option and Command and then a W, and then they're gone. Okay. So good question, really good question. Okay, so let's look at some text formatting things that'll make life a lot easier. And you'll be surprised at how easy this is going to get. So here's my notes for today. Well, it's a little small for me. Okay, so what I want to do is first select the whole thing. And it turns out one of the really standard keyboard shortcuts for selecting is Select All, Command A. So I'm just going to do a Command A. It's all selected. Now I want to make it all bigger. Well, this is one that is also pretty standard, but a lot of people don't know. So hopefully you're someone who doesn't know. You hold down Command and the plus, and you see every time I hit it, I know it looks like it equals this because it's technically it's the equals key. The plus is above it, but you see I made everything bigger. Now, of course, I can go minus, make it smaller, right? So that's handy. Now, where else might that work? Well, let's see if I had a pages document over here. Okay, I'm gonna open up this. Here's a pages document. Suppose you wanted to make this text here. I'm gonna highlight this. I'm gonna make this bigger. Command plus, 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 plus. Every time I hit it, bigger, 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 smaller, smaller. Okay, well, that's nice. That's fine. But what if, here's where it really comes in handy. Let's look at a Safari page. I'm gonna go back to that Declaration of Independence using history here. Okay, so let's take a look at this thing. This is, it's too small. This is all there is to it. Well, we do have bigger buttons on the toolbar up here. I can go bigger like this and smaller like that, but it turns out that you see we have a zoom in and a zoom out. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold down my command key and hit that plus again, and it's bigger, 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 bigger. Okay, so this I can read. Okay, so maybe too big. Now, speaking of which, when you're using Safari, and let's say here we are reading this, and I want to scroll down a page. If you reach for the mouse, it's the slow way. But if you hit the space bar, if you're in the page like this, or hit the space bar, it scrolls down one screen at a time. Okay, so you notice what's at the bottom of this right now is this line about he is affected to render military independence superior to civil power. If I hit the space, that you see that becomes up at the top. So I haven't scrolled too far. Right, so it's scrolling a page at a time, or a screen at a time would be more appropriate. And if I want to go backwards, I can hold down the shift and hit the space, and back up I go. So this is a great way to read stuff. I mean, especially if you've got a cup of coffee in one hand, you can hit that space bar and read your stuff, a screen at a time, and it never goes too far. All right, that's one of my favorites. Okay, so speaking of let's go see about that Command A again. When we were in Pages here, this is a Pages document, and of course you can look under Edit and you can see Select All is going to be Command A just like before, but I'll just do it. Command A, and it's all selected. The whole thing's selected, top to bottom. So, remember Command A and remember the Command Plus and Command Minus. Okay, so now let's do some really easy stuff that you should know. If you know it, it'll be a reminder. Some of the standard formatting things are we've got bold, italic. There's underline that we don't use too many times anymore, but bold, italic, and underline are standard things, and they're Command B and Command I and Command U. So I'll hold the command down and I'll hit my B, and that stuff becomes bold. I'll do Command I and it's italic. If you hit it again, it undoes it, right? So it's going backward. So you hit it twice and it's, you've essentially done nothing, but you did it in a hurry. So that's worth some. Okay, so remember those things. And one more thing I wanted to do in the mail. Speaking of mail, let's say you get a piece of mail from somebody, and it's one of those pieces of mail that's just too small. Like, let's say it's this piece of mail here. If I hit the Command Plus, you'll see that it's getting bigger. So I can read this more easily, and I can hit Command Minus to go back, right? So Command Plus, bigger, Command Minus, like that. I don't know why sometimes the messages come in too small, but they do. And when they do, you've got Command Plus there to make it better. All right, now let me show you some stuff that works. So mostly these things have worked everywhere you go. Now I want to show you things that work just in a couple places, but they're so good that you need to know. All right, so let's say you're down here and your mouse is down here, and you want to put your mouse up here so you can type in some new website. Okay, so you can go click up there if you want, but one of the great shortcuts for Safari is Command L. Okay, if you do Command L, if you think of this as the location bar, that's what the L's for. So I'm going to do Command L, and it's just going to jump right up there. So supposing you're at apple.com like this, and you're reading away, and now you want to go to Mac Rumors. I'll do Command L again, and you see it just jumps right up there. which is really, really nice. It saves you mousing around, and it's perfect. It's in the perfect spot. It'd be nice if that page loaded. They don't ask for much here. Oh, because I spelled it wrong. Mac. Where's my spell check, people? Mac Rumors. Okay. All right, so there you go. So Command L jumps into that bar, and then you see it's highlighted already, so I don't have to do anything but type right over it. So I could go to, let's say you wanted to go to this ChristianBoyce.com page. You could do. Okay, so now you might say, well, okay, that's nice. It's Safari, but I use Chrome. Fine, Chrome person, I got you covered. Here's Chrome, and I'm gonna put away the Safari stuff, and I'm gonna just look at Chrome. Okay, so let's see. I got a Chrome window here. Chrome. Yeah. I'm gonna put up a Chrome window. Okay, here's Chrome. So let's say we'll do the same thing. We'll go to apple.com. And now let's say you want to jump back up into that box up here and go to Mac Rumors. I can do Command L. It jumps into the same box. Okay, so that's a nice thing that it works in both places. Now, let's suppose you do this. Suppose you're reading Mac Rumors and you go to read about the Apple TV, and then maybe you go to read about iOS 16, and you know that you could go back. You got an arrow key to go back. But I'm going to try Command. Let's see. I hope this works because I know this works in Safari. Yes. Okay. So I'm using Command and the bracket keys. Those are the ones just to the right of the letter P on your keyboard. Probably you don't use those a lot, but there's a forward one and there's a backward one. So if I type these things, I can go forward, and if I type the other one, Command, and the other bracket goes back. I could do the arrow keys too. That also works, but somehow these buttons they seem a little easier to hit, so that's what I do. And by the way, when we're talking about the keyboard shortcuts, here's a keyboard. You've got 2 command keys, 2 option keys. You might only have 1 control key, but it doesn't matter which one you use. If the shortcut says Command L, whichever one's handy. For me, I tend to use the shortcut keys on the left-hand side of the space bar and use my right hand to hit the key, but that's just me. You don't have to. All right, so now I've got I got one more thing to show you. So let's look at the this is my calendar, and I'll put away let's put away Chrome. Actually, I have 2 more things to show you. All right, so here's a nice calendar, and in a calendar, you have your day view, you have your week view, you've got your month view, and you've got your year view. Well, it turns out that those are Command 1, 2, 3, 4. So if I do Command 1, gives me the day view. I do Command 2, gives me the week view. Give me, allegedly, there it is. If I do Command 3, it's the month view. And if I do Command 4, okay, where's my month? This is supposed to be the month. Give me the month. There it is. There it isn't. There's my month. If I do Command 4, it's on the year view. So, and I hit the 5 by mistake. It doesn't do anything. Okay, so there you go. So that's really handy when you're switching back and forth between a day and a week and a month view. Command 1, 2, 3. And actually, while we're at it, I'm going to show you one more place where that's really handy. This is our friend, the Finder. So here's a typical Finder window. And by the way, another great shortcut is to hide everything else. This is Option Command H. So when you do that, Option Command H, everything else disappears, and you're only seeing the app that's in the front. So it gives you the illusion of being a neat person. It basically throws a blanket over everything. Okay, so look, I'm looking at these things, and they are. This is a nice little window, but and I'm going to view them. Actually, I'm going to view things. I'm going to look at a slightly different window. I'm going to look at this. Here's a bunch of screenshots. So I can't tell what's going on in this because they all have the same sort of name. They're all the same kind of document. But if I go over here to view and I viewed them as icons, I can tell what they were because I see the pictures. Okay, but it turns out viewing as icons as a list, as columns in a gallery, these are things you can do with keyboard shortcuts too. So how do I know that? Because under view, I can see view as icons is command 1. View as list is command 2. View as columns command 3. View as gallery 4. So I go back and forth between the list view with command 2 and then back to the icon view command 1 all the time. It just depends on which window, what you're looking at. Sometimes having icon view is just what you need. All right, so that's a handy thing. Okay, so let me just look at my notes here. What else? Okay, well, let's talk about screenshots. Every so often you're going to need to take a screenshot. So let's say you wanted a screenshot of this here. Let's say you can't remember how to do this pointer thing and that doesn't work for you, so you want to take a picture of it. All right, so we know when you do Command Shift 3, that's a screenshot, right? I think we probably all know that one. That's pretty basic. Command Shift 3 takes a picture of the whole screen, and here it is, right? Here's my picture. That's not what I wanted. I wanted just this part, right? So then you probably know about Command Shift 4. Command Shift 4 doesn't do anything except for make this sort of crosshair cursor that shows you where you are on the screen, and then you could draw a box around the part you want. But it's really hard to do that really well because you notice that the box I drew has corners. It's a rectangle, whereas the real thing has rounded corners. It's not just a rectangle, it's a rounded corner rectangle. So Command Shift 4 is good, but it's not great. This is what the pros do, okay? So you don't need to buy anything extra to do this. You have this. So if we do Command Shift 4, same thing as before. Then you press the space bar, okay? When you hit the space bar, you get this little camera icon, and whatever that camera icon goes over, that's what you're going to get the screenshot of. So I want to take a picture of this. So when I get this lit up like that, I click on it and I get the perfect screenshot. Look at this beauty. It's got a shadow on it. It's rounded corners. You can't do better than this. Okay, that's just great. And if I had a whole bunch of other windows up on the screen at the same time, it would know. Here's another window. Let's just see. Suppose I have these two windows up, and I'll do Command Shift 4. I hit the space bar. They think maybe this. Nope. I can move over here, and I can do this even though it's behind. I can still do it. So Command Shift 4, then the space bar, then the click. All right. Well, now there's one more little twist to that. A lot of times you're taking a screenshot because you want to take a picture and email it to somebody. You don't want to have it. You're going to take a picture of it, then you're going to attach it to the email, and then it just clutters up your desktop. That's no good. So what you do is with any of these shortcuts, the Command Shift 3, the Command Shift 4, or the Command Shift 4 with the space bar, what you do is you add the control key. So it sounds messy, but look, we know Command and Shift. I've got those down. Let's see here. Command and they're not showing me my Command and Shift. You can't see what I'm doing yet. We've lost our strokes. Let me put this back. Okay, well, for some reason, I'm going to quit that and bring that back because I want you to be able to see this stuff.
Okay.
Okay, let's try that again. Let me turn this on. Okay, it's on. There you go. All right, still a few bugs in the system. So I'm going to hold down the Command, and then I'm going to hold down Shift, and still nothing happens, right? So we're very relaxed about this stuff. And then I'm going to work in the Control key. So it's a 3-finger job there. So I've got these 3 down, and then I'm going to do the 4. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 like this, and then my 4. And now I'm going to draw the box. And what happens is you don't see it showing up down here, but it's somewhere. And where that somewhere is on the clipboard. So I'm going to bring back my mail program here, and I'm going to write a quick email, and I'm going to paste this in. So here's my Command N to make a new one. We know about that. And I'm going to go here, type, and then I'm going to come here and I'm going to paste. Now, I really shouldn't do it like this. We all know that paste is Command V, right? These are the standard things, Command V, but there it is. So what happened there? Well, when you have the Control key down, whatever you take a screenshot of, no matter how you do it, it ends up on the clipboard and not on the desktop. So now I can send this email to somebody. I don't have to clean up my desktop behind me. right? So that's a really, really good one to know. Okay, let's see what else. I got maybe one or two more. Yeah, okay, I do have two more things. Technically, there's also a Command Shift 5, which I'll let you experiment with. It's in there too. It'll do screenshots as well, but I think the way I've shown you is just as easy. Okay, so now how do we? Let's say you have a keyboard shortcut. You wish there was a keyboard shortcut for something and it's not there, and maybe you wonder if there's a keyboard shortcut for something, but you don't know where to look and you don't want to go through a whole bunch of menus like this. Well, it turns out there's a nice little app called Cheat Sheet. All right, Cheat Sheet. And I'm going to show it to you. It looks like, oh, geez, I forgot my favorite little shortcut here. Spotlight. You know, you can come up here to Spotlight. If you can find the magnifying glass up here, you can do this and you can type stuff in here and go look for it. But if you just use the shortcut for that, which is Command Space, hold down the Command, hit the space, there's the Spotlight box. So I'm going to look for Cheat Sheet. Here it is. Cheat Sheet is just a little app. It's free. And what you do with it is you hold down the Command key. And while you're doing it, it shows you all of the shortcuts for that app. Okay. So there they all are. We know some of these, right? We know that under the edit menu, there's going to be undo, cut, copy. You're going to have, let's see, you're going to have Command N for new, Command W for close, and so on. So Cheat Sheet is sort of fun. There's a little delay when you hold it down, so it doesn't trigger all the time. I'm going to quit it so it doesn't trigger at all. All right, one more keyboard shortcut. Oh, and one more. How are we doing, Cheat? Are we all right?
We're doing fine, but before you go there to the next one, can you clarify this? Because you just used the Command Spacebar shortcut. Command Spacebar for the newer computers is set to toggle Siri.
Ooh.
And you had to change that if you wanted it to toggle Spotlight. Can you show how to change that? Because anyone who does it now with the new machine is going to get Siri.
All right, great question. So yeah, so in fact, I was heading there, but I forgot about that. But in System Preferences, you have, so there's two ways to do it. This is the free way. This is what everybody can do. And then there's a pay way too. So the free way is you get to the keyboard preference pane here. And luckily they call them shortcuts. So if you click here on shortcuts, you can see these different things that have shortcuts for them. So Spotlight, for example, I've got it as Command Space. Now, if this isn't checked, it won't work. And if you want it to be something else, you can click here and you can type what you want it to be. So maybe I want it to be, Control Option Command Space. I can do that. And then that's my shortcut. That'll bring up Spotlight. And there it is. Okay, you see it worked. So this stuff more or less works. You wouldn't want to do anything too elaborate here, but if you're trying to trigger a built-in Apple Mac system command, this will do it. Now I'm going to put this back because I'm going to forget. Command Space there. That's how you do it. And that was a really good thing to point out, Sheeta. Thanks. The way you do this, if you want to spend a little money and you really want to get involved, you'll notice that basically what we've done here is we've done one thing at a time with each one of these shortcuts, right? We have a shortcut to select everything, Command A. We have a shortcut to quit, Command Q, to print, Command P, but they don't do two things, they just do one thing. Maybe sometimes you have a sequence of things you want to do, or maybe you just want to assign a keyboard shortcut to something where Apple's not able to make it happen there in the keyboard preference pane, and that does happen. So what we use, the sort of the pro level thing is this thing called Keyboard Maestro. So Keyboard Maestro is something you pay for. You can get a free trial, but these are some of the things that I do that are triggered by keyboard shortcuts that I've assigned, and they do different things. Like I have a shortcut let's see if I can find one here. This one here puts a time and a date stamp in when I want to, if I want to make a note and then say this was done this day at this time. I can do it with it's hard to see there, but that's a Control Option T. So how would that work? Let's see. Let's make a note here. Let's suppose I want to put a note in right here and say this is as far as I went. I'll do Control Option T and see it squirted in that stuff. So Apple doesn't have something like that built in, but technically you could build it. But anyway, Keyboard Maestro makes this kind of stuff very easy. So if you get into shortcuts, keyboard shortcuts, and you want to do things that are more involved, more elaborate, Keyboard Maestro is the thing for you. The last thing I want to show you just though is undo, cut, copy, and paste. So if we look under the edit menus here, you see undo is always Command Z. So if you make a mistake and you realize you made a mistake, do the Command Z. Now, good little Mac programs will let you undo multiple times. Let's say you did 10 things, and then you realize at the end of the 10th one, you wanted to go back where you were. You do Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, and you get all the way back to the beginning. Not every program behaves that way, and Excel would be one. But Command Z, super important. Cut, Command X. Now, why is it an X? Well, because copy got the C. So, and paste is V. Now, why are these? In fact, why are these Z, ZX, and V? Doesn't make any sense. Well, the reason it makes sense is because those four keys are right together, and they're close to the Command key. So you actually do these things one-handed, and it's been like that from the beginning. And every Mac program follows those rules. If they don't, they get scolded until they do. It's one of the things that made a Mac is that there was a certain standardization for those sorts of things, along with the Command P, along with the Command Q and the Command W and the Command N. But these things are really sort of the OGs of keyboard shortcuts. Those guys really made the Mac way back when. Okay, that, my friends, is what I have for you. And if there's anything else, any other questions, I'll take them. But that's what we have in keyboard shortcuts today.
All right, I got some stuff.
Right on.
Or questions for you. All right, so we did have a question in the chat from Jill. And Jill asked, how do you reveal everything again after using Command H?
Oh, well, that's a good question. Yeah, so let's put, let's get a few things going here. Here's notes, and here's a Finder window, and let's have a Safari window. Okay, so I got a few things going here, right? So it's a little messy, and maybe I'll get my system preferences up. Okay, so here I am, and I want to hide everything but system preferences. So I come up here and I say hide others, right? That's that. And then I have a show all. Now, no shortcut, you notice, right? Ooh, but there they all came back. So that's exactly how you do it. Seems like maybe if we added a shift key in here to do the opposite of what this one does. Why don't we try that? So I'm gonna, okay, so that's Command Option H. Let's make it Command Option Shift H to show all. All right, this is a great risk. This is not easy to do. The reason I might not be able to do it is because the menu item is, well, it's going to say show all. Well, let's just try. So we're going to do on the keyboard.
I got one to fix that. If it's something you don't want to show, I got a solution for you.
Okay, here I go. I'm going to do show all. Okay, that's exactly what it says, and I want it to be Shift Command Option H. Okay, there I've typed it in. So here we go. Now, when you do this, let's show all these things again. You see, there it is. There's my shortcut. There it is. I did it. So I'm as surprised as you are. So I'm going to do Command Option H. I'm going to work in the Shift key, and they all come back. Yes. You know, sometimes when you're doing this stuff, you really feel like you're flying without a net, right? No parachute, no nothing. And when it works, it's kind of fun. So
sometimes you are, but hide everything except for one.
Okay.
Press Command Tab.
Well, of course, Command Tab, but that's one of the things I want to talk about, but I almost forgot. Okay, let's talk Command Tab. So I love Command Tab. So when I hold down the Command key and I hit the tab, it's showing me all the apps that are running right now. This is not all the apps I have. I got zillions of apps, but these are the ones that are running. So if I wanted to open up my notes, I'm still holding down the Command key. I can hit tab, tab, tab till it's at the notes. So I hit the notes and I let go with the tab with the Command key. Here's my notes. Do Command Tab again. Here's the system preferences. Hit Command Tab again. It's notes. So when you're switching between two things, just a single Command Tab will flip them around like that. Here I can get to Safari. There's my Safari page. Let's say I was doing that. I can do Command Tab. I can get over to my calendar like this. And so when you see, I don't have to switch with the mouse. I don't have to go find the dock. I can just hold Command. I don't have to shove windows around like this to try to find the things I want. What a time waster, right?
That drives me crazy. Yes.
Yeah, it drives you crazy when other people do it, right? I don't want them to do it. I hit Command Tab until here's a mail message. I do Command Tab, bring up Pages, which is on my other screen, but there it is. Command Tab to bring up my to-do list, which is over here. It's kind of long. Command Tab to bring up whichever app I want. Now, I have to tell you, I do Command Tab a lot, but there's something else I do a lot, and this will be the last thing I'll show you. If you look at my keyboard here, I've made little stickers that show you, mail and Safari and my to-do list and messages and notes, calendar. And so I used Keyboard Maestro to program those keys across the top row of my keyboard to do those things. So when I press F3 with my little there we are, my calendar button on it, my calendar comes forward. When I press F4 with a little picture of the mail icon on it right there, there's the mail. And I can go back to the calendar, back there, back to Safari, or back to my to-do list. Here's Safari. That's incredibly fast. So now the stickers, that's up to you. All I did was take the icons off the from the apps and make a little document and print them on sticky paper, and I stuck them on. So they're not super artsy, but boy, did they help me a lot. And I didn't think I needed that help. I thought I could have a little cheat sheet that said F3 equals calendar, but having the picture on the keyboard is game changer. So think about it. Even if you just take a Sharpie and mark on it put a big C for calendar, program those keys and make it so you can switch. I mean, just look at me switching here. It's absolutely bananas. I can work so fast. That means that everything can be full screen if I want to, right? I can make all these things can take up the whole screen, and I don't have to shuffle them around, because when I bring them forward, they're just brought forward very, very easily. So that's what I would do if I were you. I would program your function keys using Keyboard Maestro, and then I make little stickers so you don't have a cheat sheet. They're right there on the keyboard. Okay, that's all.
Is there a universal keyboard shortcut for full screen?
Wow. Well, see, there's full screen, and then there's the full screen that I like. The full screen I don't like is the one where you do this and you click and it takes away your menu bar, and then you have to go up here. I don't like that one. So what you can do is you can hold down the Option key when you click on it, and you get it just makes it as big without losing the menus. But I don't know about like full screen. There's a zoom, but zoom is not the same as full screen, right? So what I did again is I used Keyboard Maestro to make full screen stuff, to make it a shortcut for full screen.
Well, I'm the two examples you did at first. That's the full screen
yes.
Zoom I'm talking about. Whether you're showing the menus or hiding the menus, I hate hiding the menus as well. So that's what I meant.
Yeah.
Okay.
So okay, you go ahead. Anything else?
And you can always show the menu even when it's in full screen, right?
Well, you get your mouse up at the top, or is there another way?
No, you can. There's a new setting since Big Sur, I believe. Getting off topic, but there is a setting in the system preferences or system settings where you can always show the menu bar, even if it's in full screen.
Yeah, and actually mine is set that way. I noticed it is set that way, but it's I still don't like it. I'm using, by the way, this is Monterey. I'm not on Ventura. I'm leaving that for Dan to find all the bugs.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm finding them.
Yeah, thank you. A grateful nation sends its thanks, Dan.
Okay, we got a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
Jim Conrad, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question? Jim Conrad? Jim, are you still here, Jim? Yep, Jim Conrad. Are you able to get to your microphone? I will go ahead and ask his question. What is the purpose of the function key?
Oh, okay, that's a good question. That's the function keys down the bottom left on some of the newer keyboards, and it might have a little globe on it too. And what it does, we look in your system preferences here. If you look at the keyboard, there's, when you look at the top row of keys, the one where I was showing you all my pictures that I like so much, there are some special features on some of those keys. Like there's a brightness, there's a brightness, there's a dim, there's a bright. At the far right end, there's louder, softer, and mute. There's play and pause and fast forward and a bunch of other things. Well, if you want those things to happen, that's great. But if you want to be able to sort of program yourself, you check this box. So there might be a shortcut built into a program where they say if you press F4, something will happen, or you press F2, something will happen. Well, if you want that to happen, you check this box. Otherwise, you have to hold down the function key to do it. Okay, so you basically, the top row of keys can do two things. It can do what the pictures look like, or if you hold down the function key, they'll do something else. That's maybe not the best paragraph I've ever spoken here, but the idea is that it gives you an alternate set of functions by holding down the function key. Because we used to just have F1, F2, F3, F4 on keyboards, and that's what this does. Holding down the function key allows you to use those keys the way that the program that you're in expects. There, I think I did it.
You did it. All right. We
now,
have.
Well, there's one more thing on the newish keyboard. You see it. They do have this setting here. If I push down that function key, what I get is I get my emoji and symbols palette. So if I wanted to throw one of these symbols into an email or a text message, it's a quick way to find them. So that it also does that. All right. Now, some people don't like that at all. And so if they keep hitting the little globe key and it keeps popping up, there's little smiley faces. You do have an option here to don't do anything, do nothing when I hit this. Okay, this is one of the more popular things that I do for people is turn that off. But anyway, now you know. And by the way, if it's set up wrong, dictation is going to start. So, just make sure you take a look at this keyboard preferences and know what the setting is, so you're not surprised.
Great.
And I'll add, if you create your own custom keyboards, be a little careful because you could replace default keyboard shortcuts. So.
Right.
And sometimes you're warned about that too. Don Peacock, can you please unmute yourself and ask your question?
Yes. Hi, thanks. Is there any way to get, if you hover over something on the right-hand side of the menu bar, all those little miniature icons, is there any way to get just hovering and it shows what it is instead of having to click it?
Well, you know what it is. For example, if I go here, I know Command N is going to do new message. Maybe I'm not understanding the question right.
I'm talking about the way on the right-hand side where it shows Bluetooth and all those other
Oh,
things. They're miniature. Is there any way to hover and that shows what it is?
oh, I see. Yeah. So you're trying to say, like, what is this little hat here
Right,
without clicking on it?
right.
Not that I know of. That would be a nice thing. I like that. I mean, a lot of buttons do kind of tell you what they do when you point to them.
Right.
This says show the format bar. This is going to say show me the emoji, allegedly. Or maybe it won't. But those things sure don't, do they? They don't do anything. It's just the menu bar is what it is. And let Dan, Sheeta, anybody?
And I know of nothing. It's a great question. I know of
Mhm.
nothing because
It's
it's
a great
irritating to
feature.
me too.
That'd be nice.
If I can ask a second one, I've been fooling with my other computer here. And now when I click on system preferences, instead of getting all the nice little things that you got and icons and all, I have like a list with arrows to the right-hand side. How do I get back to the normal view as you have? I have Ventura.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, well, Ventura's Ventura's outside the scope of this one because they changed system preferences completely.
Oh,
So they
maybe
changed.
I've never clicked it before.
Yeah, they made system preferences on the Mac look like settings on the iPhone and the iPad. In fact, they call it settings now. So now what I would do if it were me, I would use the search. They still have the search in Ventura's settings. So you can search for stuff and you can find it. And then it's not very well organized. It's another reason why I didn't install it over here yet, because I think they might smooth it out a little bit because it's not smooth now.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Don. All right, we had a couple of requests for you to just show quick look, Christian.
Oh, quick look. What a great idea that is. Okay, sure. Let's look at, I'll go here to the Finder and I'm going to look at my desktop folder. This is another great shortcut. You want to show the desktop. I know over here somewhere it probably says desktop. There it is. But there's a shortcut to get to the desktop, which is Command-Shift-D, and here it is. Okay, so I do this one all the time. So I do Command-Shift-D, and now I'm showing the desktop folder, even though I'm not showing the desktop as icons, on the desktop. I'm just showing them in a window, but this works out great. So supposing we've got all these things open like this, and we wonder what does this picture look like? The normal person does this. The normal person starts looking for a picture. They double click, they see it, they go, oh, that's not it, and they close it. And then they do this one, and that's not it. But it turns out if something's highlighted and you press the space bar, this invokes this thing called quick look. It just pops open instantly, and you can see it even if you don't have the program. Like here's a PDF, pops right open. Here's some text from a movie script that pops right open. Here's another picture, pops right open. Here's an icon that I wanted. Okay, pops right open. So quick look opens up things very, very quickly. Now, if you had a lot of stuff, let's say you had a whole bunch of stuff and you wanted to, let's just say it was this folder full of things and I wanted to find a particular picture. We already know that a really plain keyboard shortcut is the arrow key. I can go up and down, here's down and here's up. Well, if I know that I can hit the space bar to pop it open, if I now use the arrow key, it goes to the next one. Look how fast this is. Okay, so this is, if you've been opening and closing things to make it, to find out what some icon is, don't do that anymore. Do the quick look with the space bar. It would work with a Word document. Let me just find a, I know I've got here's a Word document here. I hit the space and it's a Word document. I can scroll through it, okay? When I open it, when I hit this space bar like this, I can actually say open it up if you want, but I mean, this is the whole document. If all I want to do is look at this thing, I can do it. If you want to open it up in Word, you can do it there. So quick look is double awesome. Sometimes you don't even have the application that you need to open it, and Quick Look works anyway. Like, let's say you get a PowerPoint document and you don't have PowerPoint, but you do Quick Look, it'll open anyway. Maybe you even have a PowerPoint that's damaged, and when you double click it, even if you do have PowerPoint, let's say it crashes over and over, Quick Look will open it. So Quick Look is awesome, and all you got to do is highlight it, hit the space bar. That's it.
You can also select multiple files.
Is that right? I didn't know
And
that.
press quick. Oh, I did a whole presentation on Quick Look. Yes.
Where was I? Okay, so look, let's select these. I'm gonna hit the space bar. What happens?
And
I'm
now
gonna have arrow keys up here, right? I can do this.
you do, but also go to yep, click right there.
Madness, insanity. I didn't know that. Okay, well that's really cool. So then I could have really found the one I wanted in a hurry, couldn't I?
Yes.
You know, you learn something every day. That's why you come to Enma, right? So,
Absolutely.
and it's nice. You learn something every day, and over here it's only 9:30 in the morning. I'm done for the day. Done learning.
All right. Lawrence Decker, you've been waiting patiently. You had a comment or a question. Can you please unmute yourself?
Yes. Well, actually, the gentleman was asking the question about highlighting a keyboard shortcut. And actually, if you're in a Zoom session and you click on help in the upper menu bar and type chat, and then you select any of the choices for chat activities, it will point to the menu item, including the shortcut.
Gotcha. Yes. So some apps are really nice like that with help, where they will help you find the right menu item. Some apps even will have keyboard shortcuts that are just a single letter. Okay. So Sheeta, how much time do I have? I get 5 minutes?
You got 10.
I got 10. Okay, look. Let's look at Photoshop. So you may have heard of this. Photoshop, popular thing. I'm not going to teach you how to use Photoshop here, but if you're using Photoshop already, you're going to use it better in just a minute. So I'm just going to put, I'm going to open up a picture. I'll just make a picture. Here we go. Okay, it's not very exciting. Here's our Photoshop document. Okay, you got all these tools over here, right? And so with Photoshop, you're forever changing tools. You're going from the paintbrush here. You want to paint. Okay, so I'm painting, and then you're picking. Pick a different color, or maybe you do something else. Maybe you want to do a gradient. So you can do like this. Well, it turns out that all of these tools can be triggered with a single letter, not a command in a letter, but just a letter. So for example, I'm going to point to the brush tool. And if you just point there and you wait long enough, you see it says brush tool B. It's small there, but that's it. So then if I come down here to this one, gradient tool G, text tool T, okay, move tool, it's going to say V. So that means that if let's say I'm on this tool and I want to get back to the brush tool, I just hit the B and it's there. If I want to do that, back to the move tool V, you can see it's changing tools up there in the toolbar. So you want to get the paint bucket. It turns out there's shortcuts for everything. So just be aware that some shortcuts are even shorter than others. They don't even involve a command key or an option key or anything else. So you got to get to know your programs. But this is how you do the fast stuff. Is with
Absolutely.
With
and I want to also say that Quick Look also works in your mail program. So if you
see for an attachment or for the message itself?
An attachment.
Gotcha. Yes. Quick Look works all the time. In fact, let me do one more thing. Speaking of things that work all the time, let's say you've got a document here and you decide you want to save it, and you go to save. I'll do Command S for save, because I know you guys are all pros now, and you know that it's going to do it. Here's save, right? So I'm just going to do Command S. And let's say I want to put this on the desktop. Well, I can do that Command Shift D that I showed you a little while ago. It still works here. Now it's going to be saved on the desktop. So that's nice. So saves you gobs of time. So just you remember Command Shift D, and if that's all you remember, you'll be ahead of where you were a little while ago.
Okay, Don, you have another question?
Yes,
Don.
my iMac keeps giving the verifying Microsoft Word almost every time I've restarted the computer. Is there any way to get rid of that?
I wonder if you've got some sort of antivirus thing that checks.
No.
No,
Oh, okay.
then
All
I
right.
don't know.
All right. Let's.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you, Don. All right.
Good question, Don. You win.
Yes. All right, Alan Kent, you had a very interesting question about the eject key. Can you please unmute yourself and ask that question?
Yes, I've got an old command that is, let's see. Oh, I'm sorry about this. That was Command Shift Eject,
Okay.
which turns the screen off. And
Yeah.
it was fine with my old keyboard that has an eject button because I used to have an optical drive in the Mac.
Right.
But new keyboards don't have an eject button. So the question was, what do I do?
Okay, well, it turns out there are a couple things you can do. You've got, now I don't know if was it just making the screen black or did it really put it to sleep?
No, it just made it black. I could hit a shift bar or move the mouse to reactivate the screen.
Well, there are a couple of shortcuts that I never ever use. Let me see. Sheeta or Dan, I might need your help on this. There's shortcuts you can use to shut the machine down, but you see they don't show them in the menu, and I can't remember what they are. But there's basically you want to put it to sleep with a keyboard shortcut, and I can't remember how to do it, but we're gonna find out. Let me see here. So I think that's all you want to do. Let's see. Okay, let's see here. Put Mac to sleep keyboard shortcut. That'll make it black. Option Command Power or Option Command. This is what you used to do. Option Command Media Eject was your eject key, right?
Yes.
So now let's try Option Command Power, and let's see if we can do that. Option Command Power. I think I did it.
All right.
I'm back. Okay, I came back. That was close.
I was crazy. Yes. Okay.
Okay, I don't know what happened, what it looked like to you, but it was gone over here.
All right.
So look, part of being good at doing this stuff is knowing how to look for it. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know how to search. So, it's funny you asked that question because once upon a time I was using a keyboard like the one you had with an eject key, and I was trying to eject a CD, and when I did it, the screen went black. And then I woke up the screen, and I pushed the button again, trying to eject the CD, and the screen went black again. And what had happened was my cat, which has a whole house to walk through, decides wants to sit right on top of my desk and had a paw on that corner of the keyboard for Option Command. All right. So the cat was holding two keys down already. And so when I hit the eject button, the screen went black. So I thought that the cat invented this keyboard shortcut, but I now see that it was built in, but still.
Okay.
Happens.
Ronald,
Can I add something about doing putting to sleep?
All right. Hello. Someone has unmuted their mic.
I've got an old keyboard, an old Mac. It shuts down with control on that eject key. It gives a dialog box with you can escape, shut down, restart, whatever. There's one other.
Yeah, there's 4 buttons in there, right? You can.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm trying to remember what they do. Control
sleep, cancel, restart, and shutdown.
Yeah, I think.
And the escape key obviously gets you out of it.
Yeah, so you could.
I use that all the time.
Oh, and also sometimes
you don't have to hit the button. You just hit the first letter of the option.
Well, that's what I was going to say. In some cases,
RSC
a button. Yeah, there'll be a button that you can just hit the first letter and it'll work. So yeah, so if you have a button that says, restart, you might be able to hit the letter R and it would restart. So anyway, that's something to experiment with. And you can always guess. I mean, look, if I have a Pages document up here, let's say I make a brand new Pages document, and let's say now I close it and they ask me, do I want to keep this? I'm going to guess maybe Command D for delete will delete it. So obviously I know I can hit return and save it, but I'm going to try Command D for delete, and it didn't work. Well, that's too bad. But in some cases, let's say I do it like this. I'll save this thing. Let's open it up again. I'll make a change. I'll show you where that does work. Okay, so I make some changes and then wonder, do you want to save this? I'm going to do, see if I can do Command R. No, well, in Word it would work. Let's put it that way. In Word, they like to let you trigger it with the first letter. So, all right, bad example.
Right, that works in Photoshop as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we have one last question, and hopefully this is a quick question or comment. Jerry Schultz, can you please unmute yourself?
Yeah. Hi. Yeah, I wanted to add something about turning the display off or putting to sleep.
Okay.
If you go to System Preferences, Desktop and Screensavers, then you select Screensavers in there, and then go to the hot corners. And hot corners will let you select. So if you click on one of those pop-up menus, there's a whole host of things that you can do by moving a mouse to that corner of the screen. I use that all the time for putting my display to sleep, but there's a whole slew of other things that you can do as well.
Mm-hmm. Right. The corners are easy to hit, and you want to be careful which corner you pick, because there's certain ones, like if you want to go to the Apple menu, you can really take your mouse here and just slam it up here, and you're gonna get it. You can't go past it, which is nice. So you probably don't want to make it that one.
Yes, I use the lower left. The lower left corner is my favorite one because I don't use, my dock is on the right. So if you use ones in the corner where your dock is, you might have problems too. And
yes.
But the
so
lower left one particularly, I used to put my display to sleep all the time.
All right, thank you,
Very
David.
good.
And my last question about that: can you add a shortcut to those hot corners? A shortcut key?
Who, me? Well, I mean, some of these things.
Is it possible?
Well, we know some of these things can be triggered other ways from the from the keyboard control panel. Like I can do mission control if I go to keyboard, right? I can do sleep. We already saw. We just learned that just a minute ago, and so we wouldn't be doing this really here. You'd be doing it. You'd be going to here to keyboard, and you'd be saying, "Look, I want a shortcut that brings up mission control." Command would be Control Up. I could do it, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. All right, I want to say if I could not get to your question, sorry, but time is up. And please make sure that you make a copy of the chat so that you can get some of the great answers that we also have in the chat. And I ask that you please stop unmuting yourself right now. Thank you, Christian. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dan.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Christian. And that was great. Like I said, I'm a huge fan, as I'm sure Sheeta is and others. And you have to just start small. Just start with a couple of keyboard shortcuts, and then it's muscle memory at that point. I also want to add that when you go over to your, if you have an iPad with a keyboard, what you're going to see here is I hold down the Command key, and this is built in. You're going to see, hopefully.
We don't see it.
But you'll see you'd see the keyboard shortcuts. I don't know why it's not working, probably because I'm showing it off. The other thing that it does have is Command Tab. just like the Mac. So if you have a keyboard with an iPad, you can use a lot of those same keyboard shortcuts. That's the beauty of learning them. You learn it once and you can use it on multiple devices. So thank you, Christian. If everyone could unmute themselves and thank Christian.
Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. Good job. Great job.
Good job, Christian.
Good job.
Great.
Thanks, Christian.
We will have this online. Our goal is to get these online within a few days. So once it's online, I'll send out an email to everyone so that they could watch this again, because there's a lot of little tips in there that you want to. And also, yes, take a look at the chat. There's some good information in the chat there.
And Christian, you did it with no sweat.
I also want
That's what
to
you think. Yeah.
I also want to add, I did not mention this, so I'll just quickly mention this. We added something to the website. And if you go to the main page here, what you're going to see at the very bottom here is an aggregator. Basically what it's doing is it's pulling in news from various websites on a regular basis. So now what you are able to do is just go over to NMUG and naplesmug.com and get the latest news. When you click on any one of these, it'll open up in the respective site. So we're just trying to pull in news from various sources and put them on our site. And then that will leave Groups.io to help other people. If you have questions on different things, you can use Groups.io to ask your question. So I forgot to mention that. Next week.
The chat.
No questions, please. No questions. We got to go. No questions.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next week, we are going to have Josh Summers talk about internet security. He lived in China for a while, and he was a victim of identity theft. And what he's going to talk about is, basically how to keep all of your information secure. He turned this into his own little business and trying to help other people because he went through it and he thought maybe he could help other people. So if you're concerned or you want to learn about internet security and what we can do and all that good stuff, join us next week, Wednesday. Josh will be here to help us gather all that information and hopefully keep ourselves safe. So outside of that, thank you for your support. If you know anyone that can benefit from this, let them know. Just have them go to our website. And thank you, everyone.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Everybody.
Be well. Stay safe. All right. Let's call it a day.
Try those shortcuts. Try them.
Yes, absolutely. All right. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Bye.